Hi guys, this is your humble host, Dr. Michael speaking. What I'm going to tell you today is how to succeed at almost any course, almost any university course, college course. I've got 7 things I'm going to tell you and a bonus one at the end. Something a bit more psychological, wider at the end. I've got 7 things that are really important I want to tell you. 1. Avoid questioning anything in your course. Things to do with the course structure, why the professor chose that, just forget about all that. Just focus on learning and enjoy learning, and that's going to be so important. Every single year, some students, and I teach master's students, and every single year there's some people that, just a few that decide to question everything and just like go into this kind of battling mode. That's just never good. I'll give you an example. If I say to you, just walk over there, and then you say to me, no, but why? Why do you want me to do that? Why? Why should I walk over there? Why not over there? You're wasting so much time when if you just trusted that the person that's essentially got this job to educate you knows the right thing, then you just do it. Just do it. It takes a few seconds, or even if it takes a few hours, just do it. And usually I see all the people that decide to question everything and moan about everything and just like, they waste so much time when they could just get on with it and do it. People that have become professors have just gone through like endless training and years of experience, and I think you just need to trust them. But anyway, that's number 1. Number 2, understanding what's expected. Understanding what's expected. It's very, very important early on to understand in a course exactly what the person wants from you, what the person expects from you. Especially if you're going to be preparing for exams, just really carefully. You can ask them. You can ask any professor exactly if your idea of the course is correct, if it's aligned with the professor's idea. Usually people will love that. I love it when students come up to me and really ask me about the course, and they really want to understand what's expected. Especially if you're training for exams, any kind of exam, any kind of assignment, really carefully understanding what's expected. Do they just want you to regurgitate information? Do they want you to be a bit creative about the information? Really carefully understanding what's expected is so important. It can save you loads of time, rather than just spending endless days studying loads of material, and then you need to really know why you're studying the stuff. Again, related to point 1, without questioning all the choices that the professor's made, but really understanding what's expected of you can save you loads and loads of time. Point 3. This might seem trivial, point 3, but really it's very important. Read carefully. Anything to do with assignments or exams, so important. Every single year there's a few students of mine that are just they just misread an exam question, and it's always the same. I thought that really meant that this was something over there. I didn't really see this key word that was like because obviously the questions that you're asking, any question that you'll find in an exam, the professor wants you to clearly understand what it is that you should say. So if you carefully read the question, loads of hints will already be in the question. And also when you carefully read everything that's expected of you in an assignment and an exam, obviously carefully examine everything, all the pages, everything. There was a student of mine a few years ago that just missed a question on the last page. She forgot to turn the page round and missed a question. It seemed like a genuine mistake, and she lost loads of points because of that. So that was point 3, read things carefully. Point 4, this is related to psychology, a psychological theory of just turning up. Just turn up, that's so important. What do we mean by that? I mean, even just going to lectures, making an effort of just simply turning up to the lectures, that's already very, very important. Why? Because it creates a habit. You start to see yourself as a student, as an efficient student. Even if you're just there, I mean, if you want to build up a habit of going to the gym, at the beginning, even just putting on your shoes and going to the gym and doing basically nothing in the gym, that's the first step of creating a habit, a really strong habit. So just turning up, just making the effort of getting out of bed and going to lessons, that can be so important. and some information will come into your head, and even if a lot doesn't, that's could be good enough. So just turning up, and then you can start to see yourself as, oh, I'm actually not such a bad student. I am turning up, and this philosophy or this psychology of just turning up is important. Do you want to see yourself as somebody who's involved in the classes, or somebody who's not involved in the classes? So your brain makes these automatic associations quite fast, and if you even think, okay, I've been to almost all these classes, and I obviously don't hate this stuff so much, and some stuff must have gone into my head, that's already a very good aspect. So just turning up is very important. Five is so important, very psychological. I'm going to make another video all about this. You want to minimize your worries. You want to minimize your worries. If you get these recurrent thoughts about assignments or exams coming up, especially assignments, or an email you need to send a professor, or something to do with a group project that you need to get involved in but you haven't so far, if you keep on getting that recurrent thought saying, oh, come on, Michael, come on, send them an email or phone that group. True, I should like show face, I should show that I'm doing my bit, but you just keep on getting that recurrent thought like day after day, but you don't do it, then that's just, you're increasing all this, like, all these worries inside you. Just like having something in your to-do list, and just constantly, it's just always there, you never address it. You want to somehow just like wipe things off the to-do list. If you've, somebody once said to me that the average person just spends like a whole month worrying about like a 10-minute task, and I think they said it more eloquently than that, but you get the idea. I think you get the idea, where you could essentially end up worrying. You could end up worrying about something that takes 10 minutes, like a phone call, and you could worry about that for a month. It becomes gigantic. And if you find yourself thinking a couple of times, or even just a couple of times about, oh, I should do that for uni, oh, there's that assignment, just do it. Even if you just start it, you don't have to do it all, just even start it. That will make you feel so much better. You want to minimize negative feelings inside you. You don't want these recurrent thoughts keep on coming back saying, oh yeah, there's that big thing, that big thing. You want to keep your mind fresh and clean, rather than your brain having to constantly remind you of like some big thing that you should be doing. So that's so important. If you manage to keep your brain fresh and clean, then you've got more mental space for other things, and you won't be burdened by all this like heavy weight and anxiety. It's very important. So that was point 5. Try and minimize your recurrent worries. Minimize your worries. Point 6, quite obvious. Start early for exams. I was always terrible at starting early for exams. I was actually terrible even at school. So if you think, oh, it's easy for him to say all this stuff to us, then I even had to repeat a year of school because I was terrible. I was even quite badly behaved. And even at uni, for a lot of uni, I was just like pretty awful. And then towards the end of uni, something clicked inside me, and I thought, well, I need to start trying hard. So you want to start early for exams. But in relation to what I said earlier about just turning up, if you're already going to classes, then that's fantastic. You've already kind of started to prepare early. You want to be in a position that when you start to read the material for preparing your exam, that it's not all completely alien. A few times at uni, when I was still very young, I started to prepare very, very late, and I just realised that if I had a few extra days, things would be so much better. And I promised myself that the next time around, I would start early. And in fact, I started as early as I could. So the earliest, and when I did start as early as I could, then the results were just amazing, like much, much better, clearly. So starting early can be so important. So I can't emphasise that enough, of trying to start early for exams. This is so important. This is point 7, the last point, critical thinking. And this is like, it really depends on what course you're in, but most professors and in most courses, it will be important for you to just learn the little chapters that you have to, and just get an idea of that. But really, you can wow almost any professor by showing some critical thinking. And so rather than just regurgitating what it says in like a book that they've given you, really thinking about the material a little bit critically, and in your own like free time, just thinking about the questions, thinking, well, does that theory hold all the time? Or who criticises that theory? Or does that theory apply to all these different contexts? And if you do a little bit of research and you show that you've actually discovered also like the limits of a theory, or when it's really applicable and when it's not, and just by thinking creatively and by asking yourself these things and finding some answers, you put that in an exam, you put that in an assignment, any professor will think like, wow. And if you think that it's really difficult to somehow get these answers that can prove that you've been thinking critically, I've got a tip for you. There's this new artificial intelligence app thing that you can, it's just a website essentially, and it's called Consensus. I'll pop it up here, Consensus. And you can ask Consensus just anything, just like Google, but it goes and it looks into all different academic articles, something like 200 million. And so you can ask something like, is exercise actually good for sleeping, for example? And you get all the answers to that. So you can quite easily, you can come up with the questions yourself, and then thanks to apps like this, or even just Google, you can actually get the answers to these intelligent questions that you've been asking. And you put that in an exam, and any professor will think, wow, he or she, oh, you've done so much extra reading, you've looked into this, like not just what was shown in class, but behind the corners, essentially. So that was the last point. I hope you enjoyed that. Big final bonus point. You want to silence doubt. You want to be in the right mindset for preparing an exam, an assignment, for your course. You want to be in the right mindset. So how do you do that? Well, it's normal for anybody to start thinking, oh, what is this course? Did I do the right thing to picking this course? So you want to silence these doubts. I mean, there must have been a reason why you chose this course. And if you've got doubts now about this course that you chose, then can you imagine other courses that, they would have sounded terrible by now, and they would have been completely probably alien. So you chose this course for a reason. It must have sounded like the most interesting one, and it probably was the most interesting out of all these different options, the most applicable to you. So there's a reason why you chose it. So you need to really stick with your decision and just accept it and just think, well, I made this choice for a reason. Now I'm in it and I want to give it the best. And giving it the best, what does that mean? It means that you want to learn as much as you can, which will be useful for you after in your life, and you want to get the best grade. So then you've got a nice piece of paper that can show how intelligent you are, and open up all these different doors, and that's exactly what you want. So silencing all this like extra stuff of, oh, what is this? Why am I doing this? Silence that, just get that part of your brain to shut up and just like focus entirely on just like learning all this juicy information, and some of it will stick, some of it you'll use later in your life, some of it you won't, but who cares? The most important is to just like really, it's almost like you're in a video game and you want to just like succeed in this level, and then that will be good for you. And if you like the video game analogy, then there's an amazing professor. I made a video about this last year, Joseph Campbell. He helps you to see that essentially you are the hero in your story. He created a beautiful book and theory called The Hero's Journey. So if you see yourself as the hero in your own story, and just like a hero needs to battle dragons and needs to save the princess and recapture the treasure, save his village, in the exact same way, you in your own life, you need to accomplish this course. You need to succeed at these exams. And exactly just as the hero needs to do all these things, what you need to do, the battles that you have against your dragon, is keeping your head on that material, learning the material, and then showing that you've understood the material, show critical thinking, and that's it. And if you see yourself like that, almost as a hero in your own journey, then you can see life and this course, whatever you've chosen, as a video game. And I loved that. And when I started to think of myself as just a character in a video game, and I wanted to just be the best I could in this video game, then I started to enjoy it more. And chances are, the better you try in this video game, then you're going to get better grades, and then you're going to get more money after, more women or more guys or whatever you're into, and it's just going to be good. So just treat it as a funny video game and just give it your best. I think that's everything. The video went on a bit too long as well. So these 7 things will be so important to you. in almost any university course, whether it's business or marketing or psychology or even things like sociology or anthropology. It's maybe not applicable to maybe engineering, which I know almost nothing about, but for most courses, if you follow these 7 things, plus the bonus aspect of having the right mindset, I'm sure you do well. If you found that useful, then that would be excellent. Then I really wish you all the best for your exams. Or even if you're thinking about going back to uni, then hopefully these tips could be very useful to you. And yeah, if they are, then I would love to hear from you, and yeah, be sure to let me know especially if you've got other tips as well that I can think about and I can integrate into my own life, and maybe I can even tell students about the tips that you give me. But these 7 things are essentially my tips, and plus the bonus one. So yeah, so if you enjoyed that, then that's excellent, and I hope to see you again, and have a lovely evening or morning, wherever you are. So take good care. Bye.